Hello viewers, thank you so much for the phenomenal response to my video about OET. If you haven't already seen it, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. OET, or Occupational English Test, is an English language proficiency test designed for people in the healthcare occupations. It consists of 4 subtests: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. While listening and reading subtests are same across all 12 healthcare occupations, writing and speaking are different for different occupations. Writing remains the most challenging subtest in OET. I hope by watching this video, you will be able to figure out a simple and easy to implement strategy to secure B grade or better in your exam. So let's get into it. When I was preparing for OET, I came across this alarming figure. The average score obtained by doctors taking the writing subtest over the years has been 330. 330 is an alarming number because it falls short of the minimum requirement of 350 as per GMC criteria. In other words, most people fail in OET owing to their performance in the writing subtest. How do we prevent this from happening to us? On your screen, you see lots of names. This might appear a bit overwhelming to you. It certainly used to frighten me a lot when I was preparing for OET. Let me try to simplify this. In the writing subtest, you will be given a set of clinical notes. You will also be given a clearly mentioned writing task at the end of the clinical notes, and you will be expected to transform the clinical notes into a coherent, concise, and appropriate letter. OET assesses whether you can create such a letter in the time allotted to you. How do we create such a letter? Go through the clinical notes, include anything that appears to be relevant, and exclude anything that appears to be irrelevant. If in doubt whether something is relevant or not, it is always better to include than to exclude. Sound simple enough? Let's look at this with the help of a sample question. This is an example of a question in the writing subtest. Please feel free to pause this video and take a screenshot. Note that you have 5 minutes to read the clinical notes. You will not be allowed to begin answering the question in the first 5 minutes. Utilize this time to read the question properly. It is a good idea to start by reading the writing task at the very end. This will help you understand the purpose of the letter. Now look at this answer. Do you notice anything wrong with it? This letter is too long. If you are taking OET on computer, you have the advantage of the word count being automatically displayed on the screen while you are typing the letter. Usually the body of the letter should not go beyond 200 words. However, you should only choose OET on computer if you can type reasonably fast. Also, some authorities only recognize OET on paper, so it is a good idea to verify that before you select OET on computer. The reason why most people fail to get the desired result in OET is because they do not familiarize themselves with the assessment process. Even if we are extremely confident about our English language skills, our OET results may disappoint us if we do not write a letter that matches the expected standard of professional correspondence. It is pointless crying foul because OET is very fair and very transparent in its assessment process. So, while the letter on this screen might appear perfectly acceptable to you, chances are it would fetch a less than desirable score in OET. A smarter strategy for you would be to create a letter tailor-made to OET requirements in order to secure your desired score. Now look at this letter. This is as close as it is possible to get to an almost perfect answer. Try to appreciate the differences between the two letters. Feel free to take screenshots of the two letters to help you compare. I hope you can see for yourself the important differences. A helpful method to write a letter in OET is dividing it into two parts, the modifiable part and the non-modifiable part. In OET, you do not have the luxury of being able to memorize letters. Having said that, some sections of every letter always remain the same. I call these sections the unmodifiable part. One can memorize this part of every letter. Let me describe a typical OET letter for you. It always begins with the name of the recipient, Dr. Jason Roberts in this case. Then you move on to the address of the recipient, followed by the date, then the salutation, Dear Dr. Roberts in this case, then the subject line, RE:. The first paragraph is always about the purpose of the letter. The second paragraph expands upon the purpose. Then you have a bunch of other paragraphs, and the last paragraph is a reminder to the recipient of the letter regarding the request you are making. Then you move on to yours sincerely, and then the name of your profession, not your name, just the name of the profession. So you can see for yourself that the only part you can modify is the bunch of other paragraphs. Now each of these paragraphs should ideally pertain to a common theme, such as past medical history, for example, or family history, for example, etc. How many of these other paragraphs will be there in your letter largely depends on the clinical notes you have and the writing task you have. In other words, the purpose of the letter. However, one cannot afford to forget that the body of the letter should be somewhere between 180 to 200 words. You must adhere to this word limit. How do you adhere to this word limit? Simple. Leave out anything that is irrelevant and only include what is relevant. Does this sound very difficult? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I was able to add some clarity on this much debated issue. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Take care. I hope to see you in the next video very soon.